Hello and welcome to Stackers Cake, where we'll be talking tech and eating cake. I'm here with
Tommy.
And I'm Chris.
I'm Lucy.
And today is the battle of the mini tablets, right?
Yes.
So you're going to sell me your mini tablets, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So do you want to introduce your tablet first?
Yes, well I've got the rather unimaginatively titled Xperia Z3 Compact tablet from
And
Sony.
you have?
I've got the Apple iPad Mini 3.
Awesome. Right, so who's going to go first?
I'll go first, I'll start.
All right, sell it to me.
Starting with the
Eager.
physical side of things, it's only 6.4 millimeters thick, this thing. It's very, very thin if you look at it, almost unbelievably thin. It is 270 grams, it's also incredibly light. It comes in this quite sort of dull but functional black, and also a sort of nice white.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean it looks fantastic. It is so thin
It is good
and
looking.
really light. Yeah, so that's the physical side of it.
How we doing? We're doing
So
back
yes,
and
it is
forth.
good looking, but I think
Yeah.
this is even better looking. It's brushed aluminium, looks gorgeous. It's got the machined speaker grills at the bottom. You know, it's following suit from previous iPads, so
slick.
we're familiar with the design. It looks good. It's 7.5 millimeters thin, so not as thin as the Xperia, but still
Yeah.
thin. You know,
Yeah.
it's nice and lightweight, really comfortable to hold in the hand, and all in all, quite a nice design.
You're doing it side by side?
Yeah, just side by side.
Carry on, carry on.
I
So
don't think it really matters that it's that bit thicker than the
No.
Sony.
it does also feel quite robust actually. Should also add that, as there's no flex.
Heavier as well?
Yeah. So onto the screen, this is 8 inches. It's got a pixel resolution of 1920 by 1200. So it's not hugely sharp, but it is very bright. And I'd say is ideal for sort of gaming or films, stuff like that, but not as sort of crisply sharp as maybe yours is.
Yeah, well, this is rocking the Retina display, so we're looking at 2048 by 1536 pixels, so really, really sharp. And the screen's quite small, it's 7.9 inches, it is a mini tablet. So when you're looking at text and things on the screen that do come up quite small, it's so sharp that, you know, you're not going to see those pixels that might show up maybe on the Z3 or other older tablets. Contrast is great, colours are accurate and punchy. I think some tablets, not necessarily Z3, have punchier colours, but that's not an issue at the moment. Unless you're a discerning kind of, one of those discerning screen people,
Yeah.
I think this will be fine.
Fantastic.
Everything looks fantastic, and the Retina display is flying the flag once again.
Pretty good.
Okay, all right. What got next?
Yeah, well, the guts of it, we've got a Qualcomm Snapdragon 810 processor. Now that's quite old, but it is quad core, and it's got 3 gigabytes of memory, which is pretty good. And you know, realistically, you get these geeks who just love sort of, you know, they love their stats and specs, and the
They
higher
do.
the better in terms of performance. But in everyday use, it's absolutely fine. I never noticed any lag. You can run multiple apps. You know, it's not noticeably slow.
Yeah.
And it's got 32 gigabytes of memory, which is pretty good. But you can upgrade it to up to 128 with
Nice.
micro SD,
Expandable
which
storage.
that's a big selling point. I mean, I looked
Expandable
up-
storage, is that?
Expandable storage, up
Okay.
to 128. And I think I looked, you can get about 32 gigabytes SD cards for about 12 quid on Amazon now. So
I think expandable storage is always
Is a big one,
Yeah,
isn't it?
definitely. That's not what you get on the iPad, unfortunately.
Never.
We'll talk processor first. Now, in true Apple style, they're keeping the spec close to their chest, so we don't know the exact numbers. But it's got the A7 chip, like we've seen in the iPad Air, so not the A8X. So it's not got the newer one. But I think there's not a lot of apps that are supporting kind of this. Souped up tech at the minute, so at the minute that's not really a problem. It's still fast and speedy, you can multitask without it slowing down. You might get the occasional lag, that's only if maybe like me you're kind of constantly zipping in and out of apps and things like that, so it's not really a massive problem. It's really fast and speedy. In terms of storage, the iPad Mini 3 is only available in 16, 64 and 128 gigs, so they've kind of bypassed the 32 gig model, which is quite an important thing to mention actually, because I think the iPad 2, this is basically a carbon copy of the iPad Mini 2, isn't it? Except it's got the fingerprint scanner at the bottom. So if you don't want the fingerprint scanner, you're better off getting the 32 gig model of the iPad Mini 2. So yeah, it depends how much storage you want to play with, but the
Yeah.
option is there. And then there's an extra colour with the iPad Mini 3.
is
if
it
you want
rose gold or something?
Rose gold, yeah.
Something like that.
What we got next? Any other
Yeah, well, I mean,
cool features?
yeah, I mean, this tablet is packed with awesome features. Actually, I mean, it's slightly aging maybe on the tech side, but when it comes to features, you can, for example, it's waterproof, a bit like its phones.
Like that.
Oh, use it in the bath?
You can use it in the bath. You get an
Right.
IP rating of 6.5,
That's a
6.8,
big
I
plus
think
for
it
me.
is. Yeah. So you can leave it at 1.5 meters water for 30 minutes and it'll still work.
I've never
It's
taken a
pretty
bath
good.
more than 1.5 meters.
Well, maybe you should try it.
On
Chris.
holiday?
You can also play your PlayStation 4 through it if you're on the same Wi-Fi network, so that's
Excellent.
quite cool. So you
Good.
can connect to a controller and
And the
play PS4.
processor handles that okay?
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, because that's coming across the Wi-Fi network, so as long as the Wi-Fi network's not quite speedy,
Right.
it'll be all right.
Okay.
And what else is that? It's 4G, which is quite cool, and you can use it as a phone. So that may not be like a key reason to buy it, but it's pretty handy. Yeah, use it like
It's an additional
Like-
bonus
like
if your
that.
smartphone runs out of juice.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. So that's quite good. And that is, I think, about it. But I mean, plenty of sort of good selling points there, I'd say.
Yeah,
Quite
definitely.
unique as well.
Well, you could get the iPad Mini 3 wet, but then you'd be crying and you'd have to buy a new one. So no waterproof features here. In terms of extras, compared to the Sony, there's not loads. You know, it's got the new fingerprint scanner, which I've mentioned, which is on the iPad Air 2 and the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus, which is great if you're a fan of kind of going, of bypassing the whole tapping in a code and whatnot. If you want to make iPad app purchases or iTunes purchases, that's great. And I think if you've got an iPhone 6, going back to a tablet that doesn't have the fingerprint scanner can be a little bit annoying.
Yeah.
So if you're bought into the whole Apple family, that's great. But personally, as much as I love this, if you've got an iPad Mini 2, I wouldn't say it's worth the upgrade just solely for the fingerprint scanner. It's great to have, but a lot of people don't necessarily use it.
Yeah.
And you know, it's got iOS 8.1, which has kind of ironed out some of the bugs that we've seen from iOS 8, which is fantastic. But as far as extra features go, I'd say that's pretty much about it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that was a strong start, strong
Yeah.
finish.
Thank you. That's how I do it.
That's a tough call. I've got to say, it's a very
I
tough
should just
call.
actually say this does come with finally
Bonus feature.
No, this isn't bonus feature. This is not a good thing. It comes with Android 4.4, which is KitKat, which I don't think's the latest.
Right.
Which is a bit
Nah,
shame.
it'll
But
get an upgrade
yeah,
soon,
but
I'm
it is
sure.
£299, and that is
320, starts at
Yeah.
320. But you
Okay.
can get the iPad Mini
Close.
2 now for 240.
Close. All right. So, I mean, my personal preference, I think I'm gonna have to give it to the Sony device this time around, because
Why?
because the selling point for me, it's not the bath, believe it or not, but it's the PlayStation 4 connectivity.
That's
That
cool.
is a
I think,
very
for
cool
me.
feature.
That's
yeah.
that's the one. I mean, that's just my preference. I think if you perhaps didn't have any Apple tablets, and if you were an Apple fan and you had maybe an Apple laptop or something like that, you definitely want to go with that device because
Yeah,
it's going to
absolutely.
integrate with your existing hardware better. But for me,
Come
Sony's the winner.
on. Well, I think that rounds that up.
Decided.
Decided.
Thank you very much. Well, we need to do an outro now, don't we? We need to do an
Yeah.
outro. So, which one would you buy? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more tech-related content.